The board review of the year, also it's our 10th anniversary, so some highlights of what we achieved and what we can expect for the future. And then we end up this session with a question and answer, so you're free to ask whoever from the OCA board, whatever question you might have for us. We tried our best to answer them. So as you have seen, we will follow this talk with a presentation of the new logo and the new motto, making Odoo mightier together. So the idea here is really to foster the contribution around the Odoo ecosystem in a together and collaborative manner. And you will know more in the later part of this session. So to remind our mission, so promote the widespread use of Odoo itself and support the collaborative development of Odoo features. So this is really what is today written in the mission statement of the Odoo Community Association. I'd like to highlight what are our perceptions of why or what makes the OCA valuable. So first, we think one major important point is to implement Odoo faster. So we have thousands of Odoo modules at disposal within the OCA ecosystems. It's a quality work, it goes through a review process, and so that means that people that are relying on the OCA as part of their delivering process of the project to the customer are able to deliver an Odoo project faster than others. Then the second thing that we think is a great value that OCA has to offer is that it improves the Odoo implementation return of investment for the customer itself. As modules are in the OCA ecosystem, they are maintained by more than one entity, and therefore the maintenance cost of those piece of code will be reduced, obviously. And so basically it will lower the maintenance cost for the end customer and makes the integrator that use OCA as part of the ecosystem more efficient in comparison to competition. A last side effect of it is that it reduced redundant work, because we really try to focus on one solution for one need within the review process, and therefore people will really try to collaborate on a given subject instead of each publishing their own solution. And finally, I think we support contributors as a whole. So it means we are providing a partner independent entity in the name of the OCA. So the OCA is not ruled by any partner. It's really an entity that is ruled by individuals, and a voting system make them as able to vote or part of the board to actually realize the association goal. The OCA is also providing infrastructure, so all the reviews and all the CIs and for the translation and everything. So there is all a side of the OCA offer is about toolkit and processes, so we are able to collaborate all together. And the last part is being recognized by Odoo SA. I mean, alone, every contributor is really only one single person, and all together as an entity, as being known as the OCA, we are one voice, and then we can be heard when we need to. That's an important part of this talk. I don't know how many of you really know how the governance of the OCA works, and so I thought it was very nice that we are actually reviewing this together. So there is about 4 layers in the OCA ecosystem. So the first one is people that will actively contribute, so we call them the contributors. It does not need to be a member to be a contributor to the OCA. It can be whoever that contributes either code, either translation, or a functional review, or all those kind of production time that you spend inside the OCA ecosystem. Then you have the supporters. Those are individuals that are members. Basically, you pay your 50 euro fee per year, and you are supporting the association goal by doing that, and you're showing your support toward the association goal. When you are a member, you can candidate to be a delegate, and the delegates at the whole constitute the General Assembly of the association, and the General Assembly of the association is the supreme authority of this entity. So they decide about the budget, they vote for changing the bylaws and the rules of the association. So those are really the essence of this association, are the delegates. 10 new position of delegates is published every year. And so every members of you have a chance to candidate to be a delegate for the years to come. When you are a delegate, you can candidate for being in the board, which is the executive committee of the association, in charge of handling the budget for the year to respect or go as more as we can in the direction that the mission of the association is expressing us to go. Well, you will tell me if you have questions with that, but it's very important that we understand those several layers. And so if you want to involve yourself more in the OCA, best thing you can do is to become a delegate one day so you can make your voice heard and participate in the decision-making process. Quick highlights, but if we need an OCA that sustains over years, I thought it was good that I will represent what are our needs. And so, of course, we need a large member basis. So each of you, which is not a member, I invite you to become one. We need a growing delegate assembly. So if every year we show our interest in participating actively in the decision of the association, it's a good sign that the association is healthy and going in the right direction. Then, of course, we need a healthy renewal of the board member. So that is replacing us. So for this, we will need your involvement in the association, and I think a healthy association is an association that can actually get a fair rolling of its executive committee. And of course, last but not least, we need means and money in order to actually afford the expenses we have in order to deliver you a good toolkit processes and support, and that mostly goes through the sponsorships program at this time. I don't know if the new delegates are here, but we had them elected. So here, are there any delegates in the room? Yes. New delegates? Good. Stand up, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for involving yourself more in this association. So we get the 10 new names since this morning. So the vote has gone through in the past weeks. A little highlight how you get a delegate actually. So first you need to be a valid member. It means you pay your bill of the €50 a year. The election takes place, as I already said, it's 10 new positions every year. So you should just apply as a candidate. There's a little formula that you fulfill with your motivation in going in that direction. And then there is the election from the current delegate assembly that vote for the new delegate to get in. And then when you have a delegate, you can actually use a vote for several decisions around the year. And you can go to the bylaws on the website if you really need to know that in details. Mostly it's elect the board members, it will approve the budget, approve the financial statement, and will vote in case we change the bylaws being the rules that the association has to respect. And so it's a very important decision. And then how to be a board member. So first you need to be a delegate. So first step is to candidate as a delegate, and then you can candidate to be part of the board. There's none position every year at the executive committee of the OCA, and to be then you finally be elected, and then you join the board. And so it's really simple. It seems very complicated, but it's not at all. And I think we definitely need new people and new ideas to join this executive committee. So if anyhow today you will feel the mood, the election is going to start by tomorrow. So the key dates for this year. So if you'd like to be a board member or financial auditor, you can start to apply by tomorrow. The decision and the election will go from the 20th of November until the 1st of December. And the new board will be announced on the 4th of December. So in terms of schedule, you have the coming weeks to decide for yourself if you want to step up or not. But please do.
Just a note, we also need auditors every year.
Yeah, I mentioned that. So my treasurer says that we also need financial controller or auditor to audit the accounts and the financial statement of the OCA. So if you have any financial knowledge, that would be nice. You help us in controlling that we do this wisely. Anything else? No. Good. So it's our 10th anniversary, guys and girls. Huh? So not bad. Yeah, 10 years already. A couple of things happened since this 10 last years. So we get over 1,300 contributors on GitHub, which is honestly far from being bad. There's 5,400 modules in total, and what impressed me looking at the numbers, we had modules since 12th version of Odoo. So almost all the history of Odoo, we have a module for it. So it's quite impressive. The major or the most successful release for OCA is the 14.0 that has the most contribution to date. We can see in 2023 there's actually more than 7,000 PRs, and that is not counting all the ones that you are actually providing today and tomorrow. Just in comparison, Odoo is actually doing roughly 2 times this amount. So, I mean, Odoo is a 3 and more billion company on Earth, and we are delivering as much as half of them. I mean, it's very impressive. Huh? So I want to applaud you now for all the work that you do, because I'm really amazed about that. And of course, I mean, this number of PRs is increasing roughly on average 20% per year over the last 5 years. So we can say we are fairly growing, slowly but surely. Other little figures. So you see the growing number on the mailing list, our growing members in terms of participation in the association, and the number of delegates that has also grown those past years by roughly 10 per year. If anyone wants to comment, you step up. Compared to the budget, just some figures. So I would say roughly we had a budget of 80,000 over the last 12 months. And we spend that, or we earn that mostly from membership fee for a little bit, project income. Those are some projects we ask some money, like the sponsoring for this event is part of that line. And most of it is through sponsorship. So our sponsors are really the entity that makes us live for the most or for the majority part of it. And on the next year, the proposed budget that you will have to approve from the Delegate Assembly, or that has been approved, I do not remember it.
No, it will be approved.
That will be approved. So we want to actually continue what we have made until today with supporting the association, paying everything for the run bot and all the infrastructure. And that year, we would like to spend a fair amount of our budget on a strategic project for Open Upgrade. So we want to try to steer this project better than it had been on the previous years and try to take the most out of it. So it's an experiment. It's the first time we will really fund a specific project such as this one. And the goal is to see if that will be well perceived and successful for the well of everyone, right? So I take the question after, then I go until the end. Is it okay? So if I want to say what I see that we achieved the most around those 10 years, so I think we have a solid reputation of quality, and I think it was mentioning that. Today we develop and we maintain a very large code base, so I think that's also a great achievement after those 10 years. We have a well-established processes and toolkit that allows us actually to contribute and to collaborate together. And finally, I think I see across all the talks and all the talking I hear here and there, we really have an ability to come together and to share our knowledge to trust each other opinion, and I think this is really great and worth mentioning that we reached that stage after these 10 years. But if I want to mention only one thing, I think what makes us the more special is that together we really have a capability that no one or no entity can achieve alone. I think this is our best strength, that I think none of us would be able to deliver what the OCA can do as a whole, and I think that's our biggest asset to date. So, of course, I hope we have the future in front of us for the next 10 years. Still, I think we face two major challenges. We met with the board and we discussed this a little bit during the weekend. And I think one of the challenges is to retain new contributors that will really make a difference tomorrow. And we can see, looking at some numbers, that you will see on this graph, so the blue one is the newcomers that gets into the OCA for the first time. And in red, you see the one that start and leave after 12 months. And unfortunately, there is a tendency that this number is getting higher. And that's not good, right? So it means that a new guy getting in the OCA has not a great experience when he joins us for the first time, and after 12 months, he leaves. And that is really not good. It's a challenge for the association. If we want to grow, welcoming newbies is the first thing we shall do, right? So my little message here is, wherever you will see a PR from a new guy, please help him gently, welcome him warmly, and help him to step up so he will continue to contribute with us and not leave within the 12 months. This is really, really important. For our future to as a whole. I mean, we need more incoming person in this association and actively contributing to the ecosystem, and that is also depending on each of you, the way you welcome those people. And then for me, the second major challenge we identified was that how is the perceived value of the OCA, I mean, from an outside perspective, not from the inside. Can talk about the inside, but mostly we know why we are here today. From the outside, it's less clear to me, and I think we need to find better way to communicate what is our unique value to our stakeholders, being customers, being integrators, and even, why not, within our community itself. So we need to find ways so that people will better understand what we can offer them, why it is such a good decision to work with the OCA. So there's certain things that we know or that we believe, and we are convinced we want to stay and remain a major actor in the Odoo world. And so I think for that we need to grow. That's a very important statement, I think. So if we are not growing while the Odoo world is exploding, then of course one day, in proportion of the rest, we are not significant. And I don't think we want this. So if we want to continue to be a major actor in this ecosystem, it's important that we grow. And we also want to continue that we can actually achieve better code and deliver more code altogether for the good sake of everybody. And the more we are, and the more we can actually deliver value to the many. So for me, it's a bit those two points that really matters for the future of the OCA. We have some ideas or vision of what we could do. There's probably others. And I repeat that as we will shift and roll up the boards, that's new person that will have to carry on with this solution and choose really what is, according to them, the best one to continue. One identified solution that we can actually pass to the next ones is a clearer message for the stakeholder. Something like best run companies will run Odoo plus OCA. Of course, not phrased like this, but the message behind is toward claiming to the world that the best solution is Odoo plus OCA compromise. A second one is find a way to get an incentive system for our most valuable contributions. I don't exactly know in which form it comes, but I think the contributors that has proposed a valuable contribution over many years deserved some reward to be decided how it materialized. But we need to install here a virtual cycle that will incite people to invest a contribution deeply in, or more deeply in the OCA. And so it will win something back. To be defined how it can be materialized, but finding an incentive system for valuable contribution seems for us one of the key to ensure our growth. And last not least is a better onboarding process. So I've already told that we need to onboard the newcomer better. And so one solution for the future is probably to pay more attention on the way we onboard those people. Lastly, I think every one of you can actually help with many different things. So here is a short list of the things that cross our mind. First, of course, you can join as a contributor. If you're here, you probably already are. If you're watching us live, maybe it's the time to start. You can help newcomers. This is easy. You can review the PR. You can just say hello on GitHub, welcome. I mean, any kindness you will show to those newcomers in a first step is really worth it for the future. Of course, you have to become a member to show your support and apply to be a delegate. That shows the association is healthy and sustainable over the next decade. Please apply to the board. There's no black magic inside the board. We need new people. We need some time from you to make this association sustainable for the next decade as well. If you are more willing to place money than time, you can sponsor the association with your company or even by your own. You can promote OCA around you, speaks about OCA to your customer, to your competitor. I mean, the most you will speak about the OCA, the better. And the last part is obviously also very important, that organizing local event is really, I think, a good way to get ourselves known. So I've heard some may lead or make it to Canada this year. Maybe we have other volunteers for making this to other side of the world. I mean, that will definitely matter for our future. And I think I'm over. So thank you for hearing me. And it's time for questions if you have any for us. So you can shoot your question.
Yes, about Open Upgrade, you have reserved some budget for it. And you said this is the first time that you're doing that, but I was under the impression that this is something that you already did before and you stopped it for several years. And then now you start it again.
Yeah, you want me to get it? So first, they are slightly different. So by the past, we were financing the migration of the OCA instance himself. So basically, we were paying a service provider to migrate OCA instance to the next version, and by doing this, some of the script was released for all of the interested people. But here we want to actually find somebody to drive that project. So it's very different and coordinate all the actors and try to take the most out of it, which is not exactly the same as paying a service for delivering a migration on our own instance, right? So it's really a shift that goes, in my opinion, much further commitment toward this project than we used to do.
We would like to be a self-sustaining project after a while, so.
Yeah, so that's an important point that we raise here. So the goal is really to make this project self-sustainable tomorrow. So we invest for 1 year and see if we find ways to make this project sustainable and working. 18 months?
Yes.
Not 12 months, 18 months? Otherwise you go to the mic. It's okay? You want
The
to
point
add
is that
something?
we're going to have one person.
Go there.
The other key difference is that we're going to have one person managing it as a project. Okay, so and this person is going to be responsible for finding money to make it sustainable. Okay, so The idea is that we put some money to bootstrap it, but then it should be self-sustainable, as you said. But the person is going to be responsible for managing it as a project. So that's really the key difference here, not just the money.
And the key performance indicator is the
Voila.
Sorry, and the key performance indicator on that matter is that after 18 months it should be self-sustaining. So after that it should be self-financing.
Okay, so follow-up question. Is there going to be talk on how you're going to do that during this open day?
Not planned on my knowledge, but if that's something you're interested in, I invite you to propose this topic. I'm sure many will be interested to join the discussion.
You know that you can talk about the RFQ that's out.
The what?
RFQ for the.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. So you know that there was an RFQ sent out to get someone to fulfill this role in the following 18 months. So we've got just one answer from me. So the rest, so I'm not part of the decision, of course, so the rest of the board has to decide what to do, because one only answer is not a lot. And then the process will follow, and it's on their hand, yes. But I think in the following weeks, things will be clear and the project can start for real, I hope.
Yes?
Next question.
You talk about the objectives that we are going for 2023. I think they are great. We need to get more contributors. We sometimes fail to communicate, we need to grow. We need better code. And I have a question about the operational side of the OCA. I know you all guys work in different companies and have full agendas, a lot of time to work. Have you ever thought about developing an operation team or person that is working for the OCA to drive the objectives and that gets paid a salary or whatever, and the board said them what to do, they drive the operation? Have you ever thought about that?
Yes, it has been discussed, of course. Then the problem was also the funds for that.
But that's the second problem.
Yeah. But in general, I think we reach a stage where we probably that's a way or a means that we will have to go for if we want to grow in LC conditions. Because truth is, I mean, it's also true for all of you, but this whole association is based on volunteering, right? And it's also true for the board. And for some of you, it's kind of some years that we are actually investing our own time on this matter. And I think we reach a bit of the limit of how it can scale. And so there is some question on the table on how we can bring it further. And that's also maybe why I would welcome you to make it, to make yourself heard during the next election. Because I think we need those new driving ideas to also get some new fresh blood. And so I'm totally with you on this one.
Can I make a follow-up question?
Yes?
Because if the problem is the medium, I think it's a good question and it can be discussed. And there are a lot of examples of open source technologies that have found a way in order to get the actual money to drive the operation. So maybe that could be discussed. I know it could be the way, but that's the problem, and that could help us drive the objectives faster. Because I think of myself, if I had to drive those objectives with the company, it's like, it's crazy. I don't know how you do it. It's a question.
May I answer something on that?
Yeah, by this.
Well, my perspective is the one of a treasurer. It has to be kind of a nightmare every year to draw a budget. Why? Because, I mean, there is no assurance, there's no security about the sponsorship. You saw the figures, and the majority of money comes from sponsoring. And this is purely voluntary. It's not a perpetual sponsorship or donation that we get. It's just we ask former sponsors to sponsor again. And you see pretty much the same company, some adding, some leaving, but it's nothing that you can sustainably build a strategy and pay somebody on. So what we definitely need in order to support such a thing is a more reliable source of money to fund this. And this is my special warm welcome to every proprietor, like I am one, to invest some of the earned money into that society, because that is will help us all move to a more sustainable future. And paying somebody that is really driving the key strategy of this community would be really benefiting us all.
I want to add something regarding looking at other projects, other community. That's a great idea. We actually discussed about this, but there is a key difference here, which is normally those communities, they work on a product. And it's much easier to focus. I mean, you have to fund the product, and it's one thing to manage, right? So here we don't have just one product, so we are not in control of the core of Odoo, first of all. We have tons of modules out there, tons of area. So what we could imagine is that maybe we define some sort of KPI where we classify very important modules, I don't know, a queue job or a sale workflow, things that everybody use. And then maybe with this short list, we can try to fund something, you know, because otherwise, oh, why do you spend time on this and why don't you spend time on that, right? So you're gonna have to fight, and we don't want that. We want to make everybody happy if possible.
I have no question, but I don't want to take this. Other questions?
Well, first, I maybe just a tour to know if anybody else could got questions. Otherwise, yes.
The evolution of the number of members in teams, yeah, over the years.
Over the years,
Yeah.
I think it's roughly 20% or something like this that we have a growth. So today we have 474 members,
Okay.
and previous year it was close to 380 something. So roughly 20%.
It's a good growth.
I can comment on this because this is part of the financing. So we made a huge quantum leap ahead this year, probably due to the fact that we asked participants of this event to become a member. So that grew the number from 370, as my colleague said, to 500. But the membership amount stayed roughly more or less the same over the years. So there was not that much increase over the last years. And one of the KPIs we should better look at in the future is paying members, because that is also showing the involvement with the community. And now I think at least from the monetary perspective, we are even succeeding 500. Now, I think this figure is a little bit outdated already, so that's good. But I think we should try to surpass 1,000 members as soon as possible.
That's okay. Anyone got other questions?
Let me guess, Gonzalo.
It embarrassed me. I checked it.
No, but if nobody has a question, just go ahead.
Well, I do. We have a lot of knowledge in OCA, for example, regarding open upgrade, regarding infrastructure, regarding functional knowledge. So I think even though we don't have a product, it doesn't matter. We want to sell the product because it's our code, it's open source. So I'm not saying that we should do that, but we could do maybe a certification program. We could do like an infrastructure platform for community, for people that are sponsoring, that they could use. I don't know what, but when you're talking about investing in open upgrade, I'm sure that it's great, and I appreciate that you do that. But I'm saying we lost money last year, so wouldn't be the first question, how are we going to finance the things that we need to do? Because otherwise we are always going to be with the roof on our head.
Yeah, it's correct. No, it's I mean, somehow you tell the facts. So I cannot say the contrary. Now there is several reasons that brought us to actually favor this open upgrade part.
But I agree.
And among that is, it's one of the projects that is providing value to many people. I mean, we are many supporters on this project, and people are really need to get a strong open upgrade. That weight in the overall value proposition that the OCA does, and so we choose this horse to try to, you know, make some more. How I would say that, eco, and so we hope that thanks to this we will actually gather a bit more volunteering from the many. That's a bit one the thing, but another approach will be to actually spend that money on a kind of contributor manager or something like this that we see on other community, and that was the two topics that were discussed honestly that year, and the choice has been an open upgrade. But I mean, yeah, only the future will tell if that will have been wise or not.
Just add something. You correctly mentioned that we kind of lost money last year. This is only showing the entire process. So the problem with drawing the budget is always that we, or has been always, that we didn't exactly know how much money we would get over the year. Simply because of two reasons. First, we sold memberships pretty much everywhere and everyone during the year, and didn't do the accounting right for the renewal the memberships at the beginning of the year. We changed that, I think, the year before last year, so this is a bit more solid now. Now, the sponsorship cannot be done in that way because it simply refers to people's ability to expend money. But over the years, for non-profit organization like the OCA is not supposed to make any profit. So the year before we made a surplus of, I think, if I may not mistaken, 37,000 euro. So we could afford to spend a little more that year after. So overall, the budgetary situation of the OCA is solid. It's conservative. Probably with the German treasurer it would stay conservative. So I invite everybody to be a little bit more progressive on that matter with fresh blood. But I think we need to grow the figure of sponsors and members in the future to make that.
Is there any question? Oh. I don't know who was first there, so I pick you up.
Did you think about maybe some different categories of memberships to get a bit weight off this reliance on sponsors? Maybe have like a gold membership where you have a bit higher regularly incoming money where you can it's better calculate with, and also maybe put this on purpose. It could be combined with something like open upgrades.
Yeah.
I mean, the OCA itself is very important, and open upgrade is without question the most important thing everybody shares.
So I'm not sure I got exactly what you proposed, but to add another type of membership?
Yeah, something not like give us money now, or would you have to run around and ask people again and again and again, and you never know, and you never reach everybody again. And if you have people who sign up and like a membership, but it doesn't have to be very low. There might be a reason to have a low membership fee as a base. Not everybody has the same budget, but give bigger organizations or companies the possibility to chip in a bit more.
Yeah, I think
and discounts regularly.
I got your point. So it's all get down to the governance of the association, right? So as long as we believe this association need to be governed by individuals, then you cannot offer membership to legal entities. Because what will think, as long as I spot the name ad hoc or Forceflow or Axon here or Camp to Camp or whatever, and it's a sponsor, it's just a sponsor, right? So he's happy to give money for getting visibility. When I tell you that Forceflow or whoever, ad hoc or whatever, gets 20 votes on the next vote because they put money on the table, I'm not sure everybody's going to trust. So it's the border is very thin. I'm not saying we should not do such a thing like this. Maybe it will be valuable that some companies get some voice in the direction the association is taking, but if we go that way, it's really a very big shift in the way the governance of this association has been ruled since 10 years. So I'm not saying no, but I'm saying it's a cautious thing to consider. You cannot just, it has many impact behind if companies start to be members and voting power in the association. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not good. Everybody may have his opinion, but for sure, it's a very different perspective than what we live today. For the better or the worse, that everybody can tell.
There's an additional observation from me as a treasurer, and that has been that we have had a continuous shift to corporate sponsorship. So if you see the corporate sponsorship figure, that's just the corporate sponsorships that we advert on the website. But those that sponsors usually also finance the memberships of their employees every year. So a larger contributor, like for instance Camp to Camp, is paying the membership fee for its employees, and I encourage every company that is seriously doing OCA projects with OCA code to do so. And of course, this appreciation not only goes to you, but to the outside world. You know that there are many, many more that use the OCA code to run projects, and they are also encouraged to do so. And that brought a little bit more continuity to the fact, because these companies that sponsor, that pay their employees the membership fees, they are always also the ones that are even sponsoring the event additionally. So, but as you can see, there's only a few. We would like to grow that figure substantially, and I think we need to in order to achieve all that valuable goals that our friend Gonzalo just mentioned.
Yeah, we had another question. I don't know. Yes, go ahead.
Actually, not a question, but information for you guys, for the association. I'm here represent a Telegram member, a Telegram group from Indonesia. That's right now consists of 3,700 members. Right? And mainly they use OCA module. So I think we can utilize them, right, to promote the association, right, and at least some percent of them can become a member. I don't know how to do that, but I think local event is one of them, one of the approach, right? And I think the other idea is to create some kind of online tutorial to use the OCA modules, because some of them are, in my opinion, is hard to use, hard to implement. Like, for example, the REST API. The REST API is actually a very good solution, but it is still not very easy to use for us, especially in Indonesia. I don't know, maybe the communication or the example is not very clear enough. I think if we can create some kind of tutorial that is paid, not free tutorial, I think it can become some kind of sustainable income for the association.
Yeah. Well, I take those suggestions. I think they're all good. First, we had a Thailand event last year, I think, and it was a brilliant success. So, I mean, if whatever you would like to organize something in Indonesia, you will receive our full support to do so. So you are more than welcome to do that. I think the more we get known, and of course the potential of growth is much bigger in a foreign country, I mean outside Europe, and there we have less relay. So if you would like to make one there, you will just get to us and I will support you in doing that. And from the e-learning courses or whatever, it has been around an idea for a long time. I think we never really figured out how to exactly price it or do it properly, only for member or not. There was many discussion, and finally we never put it out. But it is an idea that is in around for some months now, and I agree that that could be one of the way to leverage and to get people more knowledge and understanding on how to use our work. Yeah. I think Jody, you had a question.
Building on top of what you have already said, I mean, in my experience, I've seen the Spanish Community Association, ODU Association, how they run. It's a slightly different model, but there are some ideas that are interesting. It's well funded first, so it's supporting a yearly event and doing webinars, trainings, and gaining more sponsors or income based on contents that is delivered. It's actually, in my opinion, is that they are using OCA stuff to build this content. Right? So it's actually taking it's not their actual flow. No, it should be OCA who's doing that, not them. So they are doing certifications, technical trainings, and then the key thing is not it's funded by companies, but it's not. Companies don't need to become members. It's we are funding the Spanish community, but we don't care if we vote or not vote. Because that's something that might be interesting.